I pushed the live button, so we're live.
We're live?
Oh my.
Okay. We're trying to get us in a straight line for you so that we don't do like the big head, little head, big head thing, which means that we kind of got to turn a certain way, which means that if I technically put my hands out to lean on my desk, there's nothing there. And Pastor Kim,
more than I got.
yeah, I guess mine is just way out, but then I lean in and then I look ginormous. And then Pastor Ed.
I sit with my feet dangling to make me look like a real grown-up. They have to raise this chair up so that my feet do not touch the
I
floor.
don't know why that makes me laugh so much. Every time you say the word dangling, how you say dangling.
What you got over there, Pastor P?
Oh, this is my breakfast from Jessica.
Oh, it's your breakfast.
Yeah, isn't that terrible?
You just haven't.
I haven't eaten it.
That's pretty yummy.
Say it again. Your feet
Dangling.
are dangling. Denali.
Denali.
We hope you're doing well. Can you hear us okay? I actually realized the microphone is aimed at me,
By the big
which
mug there.
does not need to be
See,
aimed
here,
at me.
this is my drink, and this is my chaser.
Oh, this
I
washes
learned
down.
that from my mom.
How many calories do you think are in that cup of chocolate? He
Thousand.
calls it coffee.
Choco.
Choco, that's
Yeah.
what it is?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I'm sure you've turned in for Pastor Randy to answer the deep philosophical questions of life.
We'll call it Chaffee, I suppose.
Choffee.
Yeah.
Makes a little more sense potentially. And I have the questions on my phone because Pastor Kim did not send me the questions because I think she's mad at me. So
Yep.
I didn't want to say anything in front of you guys.
Actually, I
but-
stole them from him, so I printed them, and then they're like not there.
So I got
don't
them
know
on
where
my
they
I got
are.
them on my phone though. We're good. And I'm totally joking. Pastor Kim's not mad at me. Although she probably has tons of reasons to be. No, never. Welcome to Q&A with Pastor Kim, Pastor Randy, and PG. We're pumped to be here. Great things going on. Hello, Miss Kathy. I'm going to hop on and share the stream. You can feel free to do the same. Someone always asked why we spend a little bit of time talking. Part of the reason we do that for the first couple of minutes,
People time.
too long, potentially, from time to time, a little
Apparently.
We could
fall. If
we
there was a
could go
word for
drift,
it,
yes.
what would it be?
We drift.
Fall.
think?
There's another word for it though.
Apostatize?
Falderall.
We have a little time of falderall.
Falderall Rivali.
That's because by the time we get here, we need that.
Well,
We need a little bit of a
And
break from
we're
dealing
waiting
with
for
stuff.
everybody to get online
Yes.
before we start with the serious question.
Exactly.
Right.
So we normally give about three. Our goal is 2 to 11 minutes. Here we go. Hey, there we are. Mute my computer. I'm going to share the stream. You can feel free to do the same. Pop over, and then can you hear us? Okay. Are we loud enough? Can you hear me now? Pastor Randy's got the mic aimed at him. Let us know where you're watching from. Miss Kathy Kiski, what's going on? Carol from North Carolina. All right, I think we're off to the races. And there is something incredibly exciting going on this weekend. Pastor
Yes,
Kim.
Indeed. I'm afraid to say too much, though, mainly because someone who's not registered will be like, can I register?
So you would actually not let them come.
Oh, I can't say that, but I will create
But
a
her-
whole. Whew, let me
Her
tell you.
leadership team will murder her.
Every time, like they get the group set, there's like one more person. But anyhow, we've got a women's retreat. My understanding is 191 women
Woo!
are registered.
Come on, register.
Our theme is dare.
Love that.
Dare to be courageous. We're going to talk about daring to dream, daring to heal, daring to move forward, and daring to lead.
Have you put any thought process into like a theme or like points or message or
It
anything?
just whatever popped out.
This is
We did,
coincidence.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
really it's.
As the spirit moves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're going to
people say.
play a game and give away prizes. We're going to play Truth or Dare.
I saw a giant stack, and I mean giant, the biggest stack I've ever seen of Chick-fil-A gift cards.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I stole half of them, but
Yeah.
I've only eaten Chick-fil-A a few times, and I really like
it's
their
very
food.
good.
Yeah,
It's the Lord's
good.
chicken.
I know.
It's the
I know.
Lord's chicken.
I know
I
that.
know.
The Lord's chicken. That sauce. Talk about a lot of calories. That Chick-fil-A sauce.
And the waffle fries.
It's God's chicken.
We have awesome
It's
t-shirts,
like
too.
Matt Chandler / Francis Chan / Andy Stanley. That's what it is.
I'm gonna have to watch Matt Chandler. I don't know how he does. His,
He is more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see the.
Yeah.
I see the connection.
Let me see if
you forgot William Shatner.
William.
There's
All right, let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. That's my bad.
I should ask a first question.
You should ask a question right now.
The first question actually is my question. I thought of this as, a lot of times, and we've wondered, we're going to start saying at the end of the service, Pastor Pete, just, hey, if you got a question, send it in for Q&A. It's a great time to...
Or better, you say, I'm assuming this message might have stirred some questions in you. So, if you have questions, here's how you get them answered.
Yeah.
It's great.
I know.
Love this platform. Love that you get to interact and ask questions. It's
so as
super
I was
helpful.
listening to the first service message, a question came to me and I submitted it right away. So my question was this. In Sunday's message, you used the analogy about trusting a doctor. That we don't even know the doctor, but we trust the doctor. So when the doctor says, take these 3 pills, he prescribes these 3 pills, it's going to make us healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yes.
My question is, how do you get the doctor to prescribe that wealthy pill and the wise pill?
Yes.
Because I've never had a doctor willing to do that.
I wouldn't know because when he prescribed them for me, I didn't trust him and I didn't take them.
Oh.
The evidence is right here. I did not take them.
That was one of those things.
Particularly the wise and the wealthy pill.
It appears as though they're quite excited about the women's conference.
Yeah.
Valerie's pumped. Jessica Howard is pumped. Jackie Smith is pumped. Carol's pumped. Danielle Barber says she can't wait. Valerie says,
are there men's that are pumped?
Men's? I haven't seen any.
Are there any men's?
I haven't seen any men's. I mean, it's a whole. I'm not going to say what I was thinking. That's going to get me in trouble.
I'm going to stop because I'm.
Bindi says she's hungry, making cupcakes for the ladies at the conference. Is that true?
She is. She's making cupcakes for us. Her fancy
That's
one.
ridiculous.
Is that
Bindi.
Oh,
Bindi.
Bindi. I thought it was
Yeah,
Bindi.
come on, man. You made for the men's breakfast. You didn't make no cupcakes.
Because all you wanted was bacon. That's
She
why.
didn't make
Everybody
no
was
cupcakes.
bacon.
It's a strong
That was a
grammarian up here.
Took you back to your days in Philly on the
I
streets.
pretend to be smart. It's going to be great. Okay, fire into the questions.
So there's no wealthy or wise pills. Exactly.
Well, I've never taken it,
Okay.
so
That just it just
that's all I
struck
can
me
say.
funny when you said that. I was like,
Experientially, they are foreign to me.
yeah. Okay. Here's a real question though. If we were made to live for eternity with Christ, why did He create us on earth? Why didn't He just create us with Him and in heaven where we are all together? What is the point of Him putting us on earth if we will return to Him?
It's a really big question, and I could probably answer for an hour, honestly, because you get into the whole plan of God. But I'm going to try to make it simple, not answer every part of it.
3 sentences.
In Revelation 21,
You hear?
verse 1 through 5, it talks about God at the end of time, after judgment, when time will be no more. God's going to create a new heaven and a new earth. So this is the eternal state of things, and so we, even in eternity, are going to spend an awful lot of time on earth as well as who knows where in the universe. So it's not as though that this was a circular ending that didn't have a lot of purpose in between. The lessons that we are able to learn and able to display to the rest of the angelic communities and so forth by being physical beings, living at a time where evil is palpably existent, physically existent. It's accomplishing a lot of things. It is also allowing us a progressive growth experience. It's kind of proving to the rest of the universe, and I'm getting into something that I'm going to touch on just a little bit in the message this Sunday. It's proving to the rest of the universe that we are truly going to be worthy of positions of servanthood, authority, servanthood / for all eternity, because we have gone through what we went through here, albeit a lot of it we bring on ourselves. Anyway, I could go on and on and on about this, but essentially, don't think that Earth isn't going to still be existent forever. It's going to be a new Earth. It's going to be very different than the conditions, the physical conditions we have here now, but it will exist forever, and we'll spend a lot of time on the Earth.
I have a follow-up question. Would you say that when Earth was originally created before the fall of man, that it was kind of part of heaven, at least in a different way than it is now? That
Interesting question.
There's a lot of theologians that say that the Garden of Eden was really part of the throne of God, and we see in Revelation 22 there's that restoration of that image of the garden and the throne being connected, the river of life, flowing and so forth. So probably the answer is yes,
Somewhat.
but it's I'm hesitant to be real
Definitive, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this person, we tend to think of the earth as just this fallen state. So this is this sort of bad place. Heaven is the good place, but earth was once not. It was all good.
Well,
absolutely.
You've also heard people say that God won't allow evil in His presence, which was where
ridiculous.
Satan was.
Yes.
And it says that
It
He's
still
currently
is.
the
He currently-
accuser of the brethren.
He's up there says He accuses us day and night before the throne, so obviously God still allows evil in His presence.
And He still, some are easier to accuse than others.
Yes.
I try to keep my head low.
A little dinged up. What is it you? Every once in a while, Pastor Randy, when he relives some of his history growing up, he says, "I've been a, what is it? How's it go?
Been a difficult child.
I've been a difficult child for God to raise."
Yeah, I definitely have. I've learned most things the hard way, and I mean that sincerely and to be funny, but it's not been real funny.
Well, I think the heart of this question may be missing what I've heard you describe before of like the role of humanity may be different than we think that it is. That part of the revelation of God's character and His nature was to create these free moral agents that could be the full representation, could see the full manifestation, representation of sin, and for people for angelic powers to look and say that's not it. Like that's not. I don't want to live like that. I see what the fruit of that is. This is what your way is best.
Yeah. Well, just to one brief example. When you think about it, let's take an abstract principle like hate or prejudice.
Yeah.
In the
Racism.
abstract, it's like, well, I don't know exactly what that means, but when you see it lived out in flesh and blood beings treating each other terribly, well, you realize this is a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Likewise, honesty or dishonesty. Imagine living in heaven where there's never been a visible example of dishonesty. And so the Lord is in some way saying, we here must always be honest because dishonesty is harmful. And the angels are like, can't figure quite what that means. We've never seen it,
Yeah.
Well, now the universe has seen it. And we've seen displayed both why it's critical that everybody in the universe trust God and obey Him always. There's no other way that life can work. We also have been allowed a deep revelation of God's heart in what He's willing to do to rescue those that can be rescued, even to the point of His own sacrifice and so forth. So
It's good.
So Earth has played a crucial role, and the physicality of humanity has played a crucial role to magnify both righteousness and evil in ways that angelic hierarchies, spiritual entities, probably have a hard time getting their heads around, but not anymore.
They can see it.
Yeah,
It's really a powerful revelation. The first time you shared that and you explained it, I was like, whoa. Because we view like our role here and what our role is, why we were created. I think oftentimes we view it in a different light than God does.
Yeah, and we tend to view ourselves with an exclusivity that Scripture does give a lot to, but not entirely. What I mean by that is like you take like Ephesians 3:10. It's just kind of tossed in all of a sudden. It says the church, God is showing His manifold wisdom, to these hierarchies in the heavenly realms through the church. It's just kind of tossed in. So the Bible is pretty human-centric, but there are a lot of mentions of angels and angelic realms and authorities and so forth.
What is that?
And
What is that?
So we don't see our role as being so integral for their learning and development, but it is. So I mean they're finite too, which means they're on the go like we are, just learning things.
So to that point, I mean spiritual warfare. What do you got? What is that?
I got nothing.
We wrestle not against principalities and powers.
Yeah, I mean on a practical level, what
It is lightsabers. Absolutely. It's so clear.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. On one level, I am clueless. I have no idea how these angels fight each other. I would love to see it. I would really, really love to see it. on a practical level, the Ephesians 6 passage is really talking about human philosophies and ideologies and world religions and all these things that these hierarchical angelic powers use to get into our heads and steal our souls. Okay, so it's twofold. On the one level, man, I'm clueless. I don't know. It could be the lightsaber thing. I don't know. They definitely fight. The Bible tells that. But how do these spiritual beings fight? I've always wondered what that looks like. Frankly, it could look an awful lot like some of these space movies we see. I don't know, man. I don't know. But on our level, it's more of a inward philosophical. It's trying to deceive us, keep us from the truth about God, the truth about life, from realizing our destiny and that kind of thing.
Well, and that's we wrestle now.
Man, you hot? You got me like
Pastor Kim. Pastor
I'm
Kim
not hot
is
now.
like
I was
a
just
lake of
I mean,
fire.
I'm not
A lake
cold
of
now.
fire.
When I first came in, it was chilly in here. Woo.
Gee.
Smoke them out quick. Yeah.
Want some ice water?
Well, that's the principalities and powers verse. That's what that's referring to more. Is that there's something that's going on that we don't want to be ignorant to the devil's his schemes, his plans.
And that's like for us on earth.
Right.
He's carrying out one type of strategy, but there's real warfare that the Bible talks about.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what that looks like.
So when Jesus is born, it says that the heavenly hosts, which if you study angelology,
armies,
is
man.
armies.
Yeah.
What did that look like?
Yeah.
Was it rows with? I mean, do they all have lightsabers? What color are the lightsabers? Are they blue? Are they red?
Now, just so people know we're kidding, we have no idea
I don't
if
think
they
we're
have
kidding.
lightsabers. You
Are
know?
they holding some sort of weapon?
I think they probably are, because the Scripture mentions weapons kind of comfortably. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal and so forth. 2 Corinthians 10, but it does talk about real war instruments of war, which tends to make me think there's a reality behind the applications even in spiritual terms. So why wouldn't they? If we develop weapons to hurt and destroy one another, why wouldn't these angelic entities do the same? And it really could be a lot more commonplace. By commonplace, I mean it might look an awful lot more like Earth-like warfare than we would ever suspect. I mean, you think about how vast the galaxy is. They could be out there, hundreds of millions of light years away, fighting fiercely,
Hurling planets at each other.
or it could really be something familiar to us, like real nuclear exchanges and things. I mean, who knows? We just don't know.
One day.
Yeah. One day when the light switches are all turned on, man, we'll know.
We see dimly.
We
What
will
is it?
know. We will know even as we are known. 1 Corinthians 13.
Seems like a bad
You
time for a
busy?
call. I'm mad at you back. Well, it's that whole, what we see now. What we see now dimly.
Yeah.
1
We'll
Corinthians
see.
13, yeah, man.
Yeah.
The love chapter, the chapter of love that everybody takes out of
Yeah.
context
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
weddings.
Yeah. I want to give a teaser. Pastor Randy was talking about his message this week and sort of our function role on earth. And he said something really cool, used a word to describe our role down here or what's happening that I was like, man, it just like something.
Give it to us.
Well,
So it's going to be a surprise. They got to come Sunday to find out. Do you
oh,
think?
okay, yeah,
Or
man,
do you
I'll
tell
hold it
them?
back.
I don't know.
I'll hold it back.
Or do you just say the word and not explain it? And that,
Man, you gonna want to hear.
he has often
It'll
said,
change how you live right now.
Yes. He's
Could-
often
could-
said
could-
life on this
should-
earth is a
should.
developmental journey.
Yeah.
But then he said it this different way, and I was like, you need to say that on Sunday.
Yeah, the particular passage I'm dealing with, it kind of jarred this in my head.
Yeah.
It's truth that I've known through most of my Christian life, but
Right.
this just kind of brought it to the surface. So,
That
anyway.
particular
Super.
word.
And a
That's
way,
good.
a way of saying it.
That
yeah.
needs to go on an office plaque
So
somewhere.
I mean this what I'm about to say. Sometimes, for me, for other bright people, this isn't so. Sometimes for me, it will take me 10 years to find terminology to say something with clarity. I've tried desperately my entire life as a Christian to make spiritual truth clear, because when I started out as a Christian, I had a pastor, I don't want to say his name because he might still be alive, but he used to drive me crazy because he was not clear.
Christianese?
Yeah, and I would get him after his messages, and I would say,
What the heck does that
I would
mean?
say, can you give me, what is it, give me a practical application, clarify that for me. What does that mean? and he would say,
I can totally. Can't you picture that? The hands out. What does that mean? Like that's.
I mean, he would say, I just trust the Spirit to give the needed application, Randy. And I'm like, no. We need more clarity. So yeah, sometimes literally,
takes a while.
A subject that would take me 100 words or more, and I'd get to the truth and explain it sufficiently, maybe. But then sometimes my life, 5-10 years in a row, all of a sudden I get one sentence, kind of like what you were trying to get Pete and I to do.
You can have 3 sentences.
Here's this new philosophy. I mean, should I tell him?
It's not mine, though. It came from my friend Cheryl.
I love Cheryl. She's awesome. Except for this one thing that she's trying to get us to do that's going to ruin. It's going to make my brain explode.
Yeah, mine as well. So
here's the thought process. You want to explain it? You explain it.
Well, just when you need to deal with something with someone,
Terse.
you need to communicate something, and it's sort of maybe conflict or whatever. It's something serious. She says, you can send a text or words. She actually started this with wives to husbands. That's where it all started. And as wives, and they have all these things they want to say. She says, you figured out in 3 sentences what you want to say. You say those 3 sentences and you walk away and let them process it. But you got to only have 3 sentences.
Let me add something that Cheryl may not have thought of. If you're talking wives, if wives are speaking to husbands, it's not just the amount of words. It's the amount of syllables in the word. They have to be greatly reduced. 1 syllable is what we prefer. Slow and 1 syllable words.
Yeah.
If about 2
but
at the
then
max.
just across the board, when you have, instead of, because we just want to explain ourselves, we want to do all this and that, just like get it down to 3 sentences.
Yeah.
What's the 3 most important things you need to say? And then
that would really hurt my brain.
Well, it's true too. I think if you're going to talk shorter, I think it gets harder.
Yes.
Even when you're preaching.
Absolutely.
If you tell somebody you can preach for 45 minutes, it's
way easier than 15.
Easier. Yeah, somebody
15
says
is brutal.
Give a it's like because you got to choose every single word. So you can't, if you're a verbal thinker, you can't kind of navigate yourself through it like some people do. Like some
people that can write down the exact words they're going to say in advance.
And then there's others of us that we just hope we find it along the way.
We know if we just keep talking, we're likely to get there in some way.
In case you're wondering, that's kind of our approach. And Pastor Kim is very
precise.
Very precise.
Every word.
If
you listen to Kim give a message in service 1 and service 2, it is exactly the same.
Except for the last time when you said after the first service, cut that whole other part out. You don't need that. That was another message. I was like, what? Oh, okay.
Well, then, but conversely, you listen to Pastor Randy or myself in one service.
You never know what you're getting from service to service.
Even worship sometimes. I'll feel like God will prompt me to say something in one service, and then I had one person wanted to hear me say it in the second service, and I didn't say it in the second service. They stayed like
I literally, sometimes my messages can be so different from service to another. I feel like I should apologize and give the money back to everybody that came to the one service. Now, I'm kidding, because I know they don't give for that reason. But I go home and I'm thinking, what in the world happened? God had given me a decent message, and boy, did I mess it up.
No. You give a great message every single day. Can I catch up on social media here real quick? Got a lot of stuff coming in.
What have people said?
Share the cards. They want me to share the Chick-fil-A cards. Excited. More women's conference stuff. Danielle just got done making Rice Krispie treats. Man, what is this?
On Saturday morning, we're having an espresso bar. Someone is coming to make espresso, and we're having a donut wall. Like donuts are hung, and you can come in and take a donut off the wall.
Wow.
Donut boards.
Is somebody taking pictures of this stuff?
Yes, we have Heather. Thank you, Heather.
So somebody had to make the board.
Oh, Sawyer?
Yes, Shaver.
Yeah. What did I say this?
Well, it looks like Sawyer.
Shaver.
Yeah, Michelle Prince made donut boards to hang the donuts.
Okay, they all agree that basically Spiritual Warfare is a George Lucas film. We're across the board pretty confident in that. Michael Cindy, what's up, buddy? Bethany, Mike, I'm gonna call you after this. His daughter passed out this morning, but EKG appears to be good. We'll keep praying, buddy. It could be many things. She's gonna be great.
So it's like a child or an adult?
Yeah, I'd say 12.
A tween.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, Michael. Am I close? I'm terrible with that. I'm just gonna be, as my kids get older, I'm getting better at going, hey, that's the age. but she might be a little younger. No. I think she might be 9.
I can
10.
guess children's age precisely.
Yeah.
When they come through, when visitors come,
You know it.
I do the same thing every Sunday. I say, I have this gift to the kids. I say, I can guess your age. You got to let me just touch you on the head like this. I do this with every child that comes through there, and the kids look at me. And so I touch their head, and if the kid is obviously 4 or 5, I say, "Oh, you're 25." The kid erupts in laughter, and I say, "Oh, okay, let me try again." And I say, "Okay, you're 17." Oh, they laugh. Then I'll make the serious guess. I'm pretty good.
Close.
When I make the serious guess, I hit it.
Just be careful.
Yeah, about 7 out of 10.
Just be careful. Break your arm trying to pat yourself on the back. Is that what happened to your shoulder there? Oh!
Wore out the joint.
You said weightlifting. No, I'm kidding. So what I do, I have a gift for guessing the names of people.
Oh, you're good, man. You remember names.
I'm like,
yeah,
Evangelia Grace.
Yeah, I can tell. You challenge yourself with that. I never do. I just look and say, "You're human, and you're male or female." That's as far as I go.
Okay, we have derailed again. Back to social media, Pastor Kim, because I love you. You have splashed water on your glasses. I'm guessing from Pastor Randy slinging his water bottle around.
Probably, yeah.
I hope it's not spittle.
Life. Oh, this is pretty good. Isham says life on Earth is boot camp / basic training.
There
It's
you go.
kind of. She's close.
There you
She's
go.
close. She's close.
Good one.
Lewis Haynes, what's up? Isham realized the women's sentence can be pretty long without the proper punctuation. That's
Who said
true. Isham said that. But if you make everything important, nothing is.
Right.
Succinct and impact. Look, Gene, don't be using your big college boy words on me, okay? Succinct. I like to use words I don't fully understand to make myself sound a little more photosynthesis. Okay? I can do it too. You're right, Gene. You get lost in the message if there's too much in there.
Do we have any other?
We have 2 more.
We have 2 more. Okay.
Espresso. I'm catching up, boss. Am I drowning too much?
Okay. No,
Espresso.
that's okay.
I'm even more excited right now. Espresso. Okay, they're pumped about the espresso beans, the donuts. I was right.
Never tasted
12.
espresso.
I was good.
Just
She's gonna be
pure
great.
Coffee, man.
Give her a big hug for us, please, from the gelato. I'm gonna hit you later.
Who's this one?
Michael's daughter is 12. I was
okay,
close. I got
okay,
Pastor
okay.
Randy's gift. See, that's what happens, man. That's what you do when you rub. It's impartation. Straight impartation.
I can guess weights too.
You can.
I'm not a guy at the circus. I can guess weights.
Well,
Hey, I did a good deed today.
Oh,
I rarely
okay.
do a good deed.
There he goes again.
A lady called here and she was asking information about our church, and I sent her to Calvary.
Okay,
Hey.
fantastic.
I mean, it was obviously a better fit, and so I
Awesome.
sent her to Calvary. Yeah.
Fantabulous. It seems random in the context of the conversation, but okay.
You did good.
Happy
gotta tell
Thursday,
y'all,
Pastor
I
Lisa.
have this pain. The big dog came back to visit with me for a couple of days, Leafy's friend Rain, and a dog was like I'm laying on this corner of the bed, and man, I woke up, I hurt so bad right here. I slept funny because of a big dog. So I'm just saying, that's why in case anybody I'm going like this the whole time. It really hurts. It's really sore.
Some of you know that I've had back issues in my past. My posture's lousy. My shoulder's forward from playing guitar. So if I stand upright, this shoulder, you can even see it. Look right there. My right shoulder is higher and forward of my left shoulder.
Have you done chiropractic?
I've done all kind of. I have like a actual traction machine that I use, a nice. It like stretches. I strap into it and lay down, and it like.
Wow.
Yeah, it's for real. It's helped significantly. If it flares up, I do that most of the time. Yeah. So why don't you fire back into some more questions?
Yeah. Here we go.
One more text coming in.
I don't understand Mark chapter 15, verse 34. When Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? If he knew this was the prophecy and he was God, why the question of why have you forsaken me on the cross?
It's one of the most misunderstood passages in perhaps the whole Bible. I mean, there's lots of them, but what Jesus was actually doing was declaring definitively to his enemies that he was the Messiah, and they were crucifying the Messiah. This all comes from Psalm 22, and I urge the questioner, go back and read Psalm 22. The Pharisees would have recognized it as being a messianic psalm, and it's graphic in its depiction of the crucifixion, to the points of, talking about my hands and feet were pierced, my bones dislodging. And so the very first, I actually have it open here, the very first sentence is my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me? Well, of course, we know Jesus was not surprised that he was not being saved, but he's declaring to them, you guys have done exactly what was predicted 500 years in advance by David receiving this prophetic vision. But when you read the whole thing, I'll just read this one verse.
Yeah,
Let me give you this one verse.
This is what chapter
this is in verse 24. This is Psalm
24.
22. Psalm 22, this is verse 24. But the second part, it says, he has not hidden his face from him, but has listened to his cry for help. So this notion that Jesus was in panic, that the Father had abandoned him. No, it's a declaration that he's entering into the necessary suffering. He knew what he was doing. The Father never abandoned him. The Father was with him. But he was declaring this to awaken anybody that was still, could be awakened amongst the religious leaders that were there, circling him, which he calls dogs in the same psalm, that they had in fact fulfilled this prophecy, and hopefully it shook some of them, because we do know, 50 days later, there were a number that turned to Christ, and so perhaps this was effective. Anyway, it is not a declaration of confusion at all. Read Psalm 22. It's really very powerful, very rich,
Very cool.
and it'll answer that question.
It was a fulfilling of prophecy.
Yeah.
And Jesus was declaring, I am the Messiah, by that very statement. It's the first statement in that Messianic psalm, and then you read the rest of the crucifixion depicted 500 years in advance. Frankly, that would have been before crucifixion. I could be wrong on this, but I don't think so. Before it was even practiced. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you're talking way before the Roman Empire, and the Romans were the ones that started crucifixion. So it was kind of, I think, an unknown form of torture to that point.
Wow.
It's pretty wild when, everything kind of catches up. When we catch up with what the Bible has said. That's happening all the time with science.
Oh, yeah.
Where Scripture says
Yeah.
something, and we're like, nah, that's not how it is. And then down the road, it happens a lot with sociological things. Like this is God's.
That's a good word, man.
Gene told me about it the other day in one of our succinct conversations.
I cannot imagine you two having a succinct conversation.
Oh no, we just go down the rabbit hole. Love that, man.
Okay, you want the last question we have?
Yeah, let's fire.
Okay, what is your biblical take on abortions done out of medical urgency or post-sexual assault?
That's a really tricky question.
I'm sorry, would you read it one more time? There is a bunch of stuff coming in on social media, but I'll peek at this
what
in a
is your
second.
biblical take, what's the Bible say on abortions that are done out of a medical urgency or post-sexual assault?
Okay. All I can do is give the way Christians have seen this, the way they've handled it. The Bible, in my mind, is not explicit on giving the answer to this, particularly when it comes to the medical emergency thing. Okay, so many mothers through history, of course, didn't even have this option. So let's put that in. Most of the women that have ever lived and died, if they were raped and got pregnant, there was no option. Okay, they were going to bring the child into the world. If they had a medical emergency, either they were going to live, or the child was going to live, or maybe both were going to die. Okay, this is
Common practice.
We don't think about historical reality. We just think about ourselves. So this thing that we deal with now, as though it's this option that everyone should have all the time, it didn't exist through most of human history. So that's first, factor that in. But now let's come down to, I just read, just the other day in the Christian Post, an article by a woman who, her mother was raped, but she chose not to abort. She got pregnant from the rape. And here now this woman is a Christian leader. I have said before, not to make a big deal out of it, but my mother was a rough woman. And I was born in 1950, and abortion was not commonplace then. However, what they call back alley abortions were practiced. And my mother said to me on many occasions, she said, I should have flushed you down the toilet just like I did the others. Meaning, she had been pregnant before, went through, went through whatever procedure she did in those days to abort. Okay. Am I thankful that she didn't abort me? Absolutely. Was my life difficult growing up with her and my grandparents? Absolutely. It never got so difficult that I said, oh man, I wish she would have aborted me. So this notion that has been floated into our heads today that oh, gee, if a child is born in poverty or in difficult conditions, the child would be better off having their life taken away. And that's what abortion does. It takes a real life away. This is just not true. So, Randy, are you then saying that, there's never should be abortion for anything, whether it's rape or, the sickness of the mother or whatever? No, I'm not saying that. I think that every Christian has to wrestle with that between themselves and God. I would not be one to say that it's wrong if somebody was raped and got pregnant that they abort the child. If the mother's life is on the line, I would not say that the Bible is clear that to save her life to abort. Having said that, many Christian women would probably choose to lose their lives, and see to it that the baby lives. So this is a really tough issue, and of course, we're having this just tossed in our face now because of the thing that happened in the Supreme Court, and it's kind of like the dime that if you hold out here, it doesn't do anything to block your vision, but if you put the dimes right over your eyes, you can't see anything. And the abortion issue is now getting to be one of those issues that there is nothing else, nothing else to be seen or discussed. Likewise, the whole gay, homosexual, transsexual, transgender, gender fluidity thing is also becoming the dime placed upon both eyes, as though there's no other issues in life. And it's unfortunate, but we as Christians, we're running out of wiggle room, and we have to have some clarity. This one, though, about abortion with urgent situations and rapes and so forth, I just think that's between yourself and God, But I wanted to at least throw in there are people that even in the worst of circumstances elect to have the child.
So many stories.
Yeah.
So many stories.
And they come out to be, wonderful people. So, I'll leave it at that, because here's what I don't want to do. Okay, here's what I've tried to be careful of through the years. Many women have had abortions, and women that have had abortions suffer on a level that we men don't feel. Okay, we're never going to, even though we were participants, we're never going to feel it. And I don't want any, I don't want any woman walking around feeling like for the rest of her life she is under some degree of condemnation if she has had an abortion. And I suspect that's likely. Well, let me go further. I have talked to women, Christian women, that have told me that they can't ever quite shake that horrible feeling for what they had done, even though they did it when they were completely ignorant, of
young
things. Yeah.
Yeah. Forgiveness for all of that, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not being definitive with some of that, but these are all of the things to take into consideration.
That's the best that I can say. I probably have some convictions, but I'm not a woman, and I don't feel it would even be appropriate. If the Bible were crystal clear, I kind of think, like I say, I have convictions about it, but nevertheless, I'm not a woman, so I just don't feel it's appropriate for me to say. However, I can say this. I want to be explicit about this, that abortion is wrong in the sight of God, that it is taking an actual life. It is not just taking a clump of cells and eliminating them.
Yeah.
The Bible is crystal clear about that. All you got to do is read Psalm 139, and you'll never have a doubt about that again. But those that have gone through this, it is not the unpardonable sin, and we have to somehow try to find a balance in that.
In having some of these conversations about abortion, I find that it could be the dimes thing, but people fixate so much on, well, what happens if rape, what happens if sickness, and they'll use that as the reason to justify, as a straw man, every other form of abortion that's out there. And it's
and
like,
those
wait a
are
minute, this is
extraordinarily rare.
incredibly rare that this happens, but they'll use that as the justification for legislation or whatever.
Yep,
So.
you're absolutely right. So
That's good.
let's
catch up on social media. Let me jump back over here and see what's going on.
Questions?
I got a lot of brain fluid leaking today. I'm going to get a new tissue.
Yeah, a bunch of people affirming. We did have someone else, Michael, pass out in service during second service, and he just mentioned it. Did you see that, boss?
No.
I heard.
During second service, and a member of one of our Lewis, I think it's Lewis's daughter,
Wow.
One of our security team's daughters passed out.
Now-
Miss Lisa, you're good. Is Miss Lisa still downstairs?
I don't know.
Lisa Goodhart?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She's awesome. Love you. Yes. Okay, here it is. Here it is. My daughter passed out during second service last Sunday. Doctor said it was dehydration. Hopefully it's something simple. Praying for you. She's going to be great, Michael, but we're still going to pray. I'm still going to call you. Everybody's talking about you, Michael, as you can see here. Hey, Miss Carolyn. Valerie, there's a morning after. Yeah. There's Valerie's talking about some other. I think we're caught up. So, any other questions for us before we hop off? Pastor Kim's got to go do a bunch of stuff. She's busy, and we'll get ready to go through a tunnel, so we might lose you. Other than that, which is what Pastor Kim tells me when she's done on the phone with me. He says, hey, I'm going through a tunnel, and we'll be FaceTiming, and she's sitting at her desk. Like, that don't make no sense. Don't tell me that.
I say, what? I lost you. I can't hear you. Where'd you go?
Going through a tunnel. You're at sentence 6. You had 3. The irony is that 2 of the most verbal men in the world she has to deal with all day, every day. On Wednesdays, they kick me over to the auditorium, leave me in there.
I tell you, you be the judge. I think he surpasses me by far in being verbal.
And when I'm
kind of. It's nice having you around for a lot of reasons.
make you look better. Sputtering out sentence fragments and blathering on like an idiot. I feel deep.
You do.
All right. Anything else we want to say? Keep her in prayers. Ashley Puck, please pray for my grandmother. She's an undergoing mission. We'll be praying for sure. And okay, this Sunday, 9:15, 11:15, 2 services. Man, it's great.
Communion this Sunday.
Communion this Sunday.
Yes.
We reminded you of that on Monday.
I know.
Communion.
I had
everyone.
forgotten it.
It's gonna be fantastic. Church is growing. Super exciting. Love it. We're going through church stuff with the elders, and it's super fun. See what God's doing. Get to be a part of it. So plan to join us 9:15, 11:15. The message, the paradoxes. This is what, number 4?
3.
Is it 3?
3?
I think it's 3.
Starting a new series this week.
To become.
Is it okay, Pete, if I preach the one that I planned?
It's becoming a servant to become great. I thought mine is skewed.
Become great.
Become
you gotta
great.
Become a,
Yeah.
To
yeah,
become great,
you
become
gotta
a servant.
Become a servant.
That is a paradox.
It is a
Yeah.
paradox. Yes.
Is that why I saw the picture of royalty on the computer? Shh, don't tell nobody.
You're giving my.
But I'm telling you, you want
away.
to hear the next Wednesday. We're going to ask you if you know which
You mean Thursday?
which quote Pastor Randy whispered in my ear.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is good.
this is assuming that I remember it by
This is a
Sunday.
50-50 shot.
If you don't, I'll have to come up and say at the end.
Which we did the one message. That was awesome. But it was perfect. You did perfect.
Oh yeah, when he
When
forgot to
I
have
didn't
him.
finish my message appropriately, you finished it for me. Yes, thank you.
Anytime.
We all work together here at SCF. Plan to be a part. Get involved. Sign up for a group. Volunteer. Join one of our serve teams.
Do
Great stuff going on.
something.
Do something.
Do something.
Get into community. That'd be a good message. Community. All right. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
See you.